What is that? It's a messed up page if ever I saw one. There's smudged paint on it, and now she's drawing a chunky version of that woman on the bike. This, my friends, is a prepared page, and that's what today's video is all about. What are prepared pages? How do you make them? And why do artists use them? So today I'm going to show you how I use them, how I've started using them. This video is going to be in 3 parts. First, I'm going to talk about it. Then I'm going to show you some sketchbook work of things made in this way. And then I'm going to show you a time lapse of another project where I really struggled pushing forward and backward with this prepared page. Hi everyone, good morning. Good morning from Portland. It is gonna rain. The clouds are so deep, deep Payne's gray, 70% right now. Today's video is about prepared pages. This is a topic, or just a, you know how sometimes artists just sort of say, I don't know, staining pigment or gouache or any kind of thing that they're talking about and assume that that's really clear and obvious, whatever they're working on and what it is. And I feel like prepared pages for me is something I've been watching artists do for quite some time, about a year now. I think I first saw Melanie Chadwick do it, then I saw Onmar Wynn do it, and now I'm seeing Emma Carlisle do it because I'm part of her Patreon. And I see them doing that and I thought, maybe I gotta try this thing. And it's opened up a lot of new opportunities for me. It's shown me a few different things that I can do that are really exciting, that's keeping me at my desk. In fact, last night, usually by the end of the day, I'm just done. And so I just go into the TV room, lay on the floor and put whatever's up. And sometimes I have my sketchbook, like this one I had last night, propped up. You know, I prop it up and look at whatever I've been working on. Yesterday I had this one there and I was looking at it, listening to the whatever show was on the TV, and then I came back. I came back to my desk when it was dark out, turned on some lights because I had some ideas of what I could do. This is on a prepared page. This is a prepared page. So I'm going to show you how I make prepared pages, what I'm finding as I'm working with them, and maybe you'll get some ideas of how you can try to expand your art practice and find something new by trying out some prepared pages. I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it. So here we go. Like, here is painting done on a prepared page, painting done on white. I think pretty different, don't you think? Like, this one gave a lot of opportunity for bringing in some different colors and textures because there was already something down on the page. This one, I drew it from a, white sheet and Neocolor too, and then I smudged some of that color out. And now I would like to bring in the texture, but it's a little harder because I'm seeing lines, and for me, lines are like barriers. I'm always moving up to the line and then stopping. I don't know if it's just an architect thing, or if I would have been like that if I hadn't been an architect for 20, 30 years. This is another prepared piece that I have ready to go. It's a rather dark colors down, but I'm excited about making textures and creating something that's more than what the image I'm looking at says. Does that make any sense? I'm so used to taking a photograph, like I have this photograph somewhere in here. There she is. Okay, there's my great Aunt Tyne in the little prime of her youth. What a cutie. And I love this angle. And so this was done on a prepared page so that I could free myself from putting in any of the background information and just focusing on her gesture, on the gesture of the figure. Done again, making her butt bigger. Done again, changing the line of her back, which I don't like it, which is good to know, right? It's good to know the things that aren't working, but I do love the blue lines next to the orange or the green lines. Some other pictures. Here's one where I'm actually stuck at the moment. It's another awesome angle of a photograph of a person, because you don't often find them like the angle different than just straight on, which is why I love my great aunt's pictures. Like, you have things that, I don't know, I don't think I see this nowadays. Certainly a woman in full dress wearing wearing full clothes and riding a bicycle through the weeds. You don't see that. So here I am. The prepared page was the green. Then I drew with a line with just the luminance pencil. And then I was wiping off my paintbrush from some different project just to add something, because I'm not sure where to go with this. So this requires me to really think about what I want to bring forward, what I want to push back, and what color combos are interesting next to one another. That is the thing that I'm really starting to get very interested in. So what goes nicely next to each other? For instance, I love this sort of yellow next to this sort of blue, and I love it also next to this sort of green. The whole thing, in fact, if I took out the rocks, I don't know if this picture would give me that feeling, the feeling of spring that I got by making this and then looking at it. These are under construction, still getting worked on, but you can see how this prepared page has a bunch of stuff on it. Then I use a loose pencil, this Lyra, in order to create shapes. And then I start thinking of what materials or what colors and things am I going to use to push back and pull forward and kind of play with this thing and argue with this thing and try and make something that isn't already in my head. It's something that I am discovering as I go along. Here is a classic example of not a prepared page. This kind of work, I can do it. I can do these. I can turn these out forever. And I like them, and they're a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun making this, but I want to do some more things that start out with a bit of a challenge. This is a prepared page. Definitely had some colors that I had to work with. Like, there's some green up here, which I don't know if the camera picks up, but I love it. I love the green that got picked up here. And something that I discovered about acrylics when I was doing this piece is that, so I use these little solo cups that I found at the restaurant supply store, and actually I was using them for alcohol inks, which is something I like to do in the summer, work on alcohol inks on Yupo, but that's a whole nother story. So I just squirt some of this heavy body golden acrylic into the paint pot, into the solo cup, and spray some water in and stir it around so that it's the consistency that I want. But sometimes I want a lighter version of this, and I just discovered that I can squirt a little bit of the heavy body zinc white onto the lid and it will stay. It does not fall down in. It just stays there. Even if I spray it with water, it stays right there. So that way I basically have, well, a whole range of value right in this one thing. And that's how I achieved all of this sky is coming from this one paint pot. So this teal really gets very interesting as I can lighten it up. So a lot of these lines and these extra colors came because I'm wrestling with the values that are already down on the page. If you saw my last video, you saw me working on this in, well, not real time, in very sped up time. These are prepared pages. That's why you can see these colors that I slightly knocked back here, but then left. And it's very interesting to me. I don't know maybe I haven't really completely uncovered everything that it's doing for me, but I think I was more able to focus on his body language and his expression by not having to concern myself with being precise. Like, it still looks like him. I'm using this chunky pencil again to just keep things going and to really look at what his expression is and not this preciseness of what the photograph told me. Okay, I think that's it. I've been making prepared pages like a maniac. And the way I've been doing it is I've been testing my acrylic colors. Oh, that one doesn't have any yet. I've just been tearing apart this book, which was already it already had a broken binding, so don't feel sorry for it. And I'm just trying a whole bunch of different things. Now, what I found is, this one I think is too dark. I think it's too dark for a prepared page, unless I'm doing like a nighttime scene or something that already requires dark. So I have a dark here, which I think is interesting. I think I can work with that, and I can make that into something interesting. But this red one is not calling to me. And this light yellow one is also not calling to me, I think because it's too light. If I had some mid-tones, like this is a nice mid-tone and some light color. If I have some mid-tones, this is kind of interesting, then I can get started. I can kind of look at it from all the directions, and then I can start drawing on top and see what starts to come up. So now I'm starting to have like a conversation with my painting instead of just creating it from what I see on a picture. Here's where I'm trying a bunch of different colors. All right, this is gonna go fast. The first thing you're gonna see me do is look at that picture from my other sketchbook, because those reeds behind the frog is the way I want the back trees, those reedy trees, to start to read. So now I'm pulling from my little watercolor palette that I recently put together. I'll show you that in a future video, how I put that little kind of free watercolor palette together. And this is just every media comes on board. You see me using the acrylic. You see me using watercolor. Neocolor 2s are going to come in there. The luminance pencils are there. That 9B Lyra pencil, all of it is coming into play. Now you might think, hey Kendra, you prepared this page and I hardly see any of the color that you prepared coming through. So what's the point? Like, you're just painting over the top of it. That's a good point. I think that I would not have made a painting like this without having that prepared page ready. I would have drawn it, I would have stayed within the lines, and I would not have achieved textures or had any unexpected colors in any part of the painting. So it frees me up to try new things, to put a little dash. You see at the lower right hand corner there's this little dash of magenta. I put that there actually a few days ago when I wasn't sure what to do with this painting. I just thought, well, what if I just put some magenta right here with the Neocolor 2? And then I just left it there. And right now that little dash of magenta is like, I'm loving it. Who would think? How do you think to put magenta into water? The Neocolor 2s, if you haven't used them yet, they're really wonderful for going over the top of any medium. That's how you see me bringing in some of the light colors again. It's a real revelation for watercolor artists because, of course, with watercolor, you have to preserve the white of the paper. If you want light tones, you have to get it from the paper itself. You can't just go over the top. But with acrylic and with Neocolor 2s, you absolutely can bring the white back in. It's not quite as bright as the white of the paper, I have to admit, but it's pretty close. There's that magenta color again. I thought, bring it in at the top. Now, I think most of you are pretty seasoned YouTubers, so you understand that all of this stuff will be linked in the description below, the kind of tools I use. And when you click on it, actually it supports the channel because I get a little bit of a commission, even though they don't change the price of the items. And even sometimes they just give me a commission just to have you click through. So that's very worthwhile. It's very encouraging for me, actually, to see that happening every time I put up a video. Right, I'm going over, see this one on the other side. Actually was a little bit more of a challenge for me than the one on the right side. I've done the one on the right side a few different times in different media, so I kind of have a sense for what I want and where the light should shine through. The one on the left is a different part of the Sandy River, which is a place that I love to go to with my family. We like to hike down to the river, have lunch, take a look at what we can find. One time we found a deer carcass, like a whole deer carcass right across the path, which I thought was awesome. So in the foreground on this one, I decided it just really needed something extra, and I tried something that I have never tried before, and I'm loving it. I love how when I put down that Lyra graphite and then I smudge it over with something like the Neocolor 2 or even some acrylic, it gives a very interesting line. Yeah. So I'm really loving that foreground texture, and you might see me bringing out this sketchbook in a future video where I'm trying to replicate that pattern in a different painting. Okay, that's where I'm gonna leave you for today. I'm gonna go and prepare some more pages and paint some more. In the meantime, I'm gonna leave you with my neighborhood chickens. Hey girls. Everybody feeds you, don't they?